The security package I'm sending to Congress and asking Congress to do is an unprecedented commitment to Israel's security that will sharpen Israel's qualitative military edge, which we've committed to, the qualitative military edge. We're going to make sure Iron Dome continues to guard the skies over Israel.
A disjointed primetime address. President Biden looking to spend $105 billion for national security. Kudlow host Larry Kudlow is here with us. We were talking a little bit at the top of the show with Senator Marshall about the distinction in these two issues, giving aid to Ukraine, giving aid to Israel. Larry, I'll let you take it from there.
You know, I commend the president for supporting Israel in this speech and in prior speeches, and I commend him for patching up this so-called Iron Dome and helping them. Absolutely. But I don't agree with linking it with Ukraine. And the point I want to make is that they're fundamentally different situations. Ukraine is a battle over sovereignty and statehood. Israel is a fight, an existential fight, to keep its own existence. Okay. Russia's goal in Ukraine was not to level Ukraine in some sense and push them out to the Black Sea or something. It was to take them over. Right. Now, I think that's bad. Don't get me wrong. I certainly don't agree with it. But the Hamas, Iran-Hamas attack in Israel is to destroy them and to push them out into the sea and to destroy the Jewish state. That is completely different. And I'm offended by Biden's willingness to try to link the two and make them sound the same. And I suspect a lot of, I'm not Jewish, I'm a Catholic convert, but I suspect a lot of Jewish people will be offended by what Biden said last night insofar as linking the two and saying they're the same. I think a lot of freedom-loving people will be offended by that talk. And the other problem I have with it, it's not a monetary problem, it's that the fundamental problem the Bidens have in the Middle East is Iran. Right. Yeah. Iran is not appeasable or is unappeasable, to use Walter Russell Mead's phrase. Iran is a chronic terrorist country. Now, here too, Russia is not a chronic terrorist country. Russia is an enemy country, but it's different than saying they're the same, even though there's a alliance between Iran and Russia. So coming back to your question about money, well, go ahead, ask another question about money.
No, but I love what you're saying, because clearly the president's trying to tie all of this together into one ball. But you listen to the speech, and I was listening the whole time. I wanted to hear Iran, what are you going to do about it? Iran, what's the next step? What I heard was, Iran, we're going to hold them accountable, I might add. Like it was an afterthought, Larry, and I actually think it sort of was in the speech.
Well, it's in the White House version, for that matter. But I mean, that's an interesting point. The point is, this crisis, this blow-up, has been brought on by the fact that he has not made Iran accountable. At no point in his presidency, indeed, he and all the other Obama alumni who serve in the Biden administration from the far left have tried to appease Iran. They tried to make a deal with Iran. They've tried to, pony up this phony nuclear deal, an anti-ballistic deal, which almost ran out on Wednesday. That's the problem, okay? You can't appease them. Yeah. They are terrorists. They hate Israel. They hate the United States. You cannot do business with them. So he brought this on himself. That's the point. And he has this phrase, you're right, Brian, we'll continue to hold them accountable, I might add. He hasn't up to that now. There's no reason to believe. If he had outlined steps, like, for example, here's a line, which is in a we talked about this last night on our show. You were so great to us. This 130 or 40 House members, 60 Democrats, 60 Republicans, have a letter to Biden saying, stop selling oil to China. That's the biggest culprit. Yes. They boosted their oil reserves and their foreign exchange reserves and their cash. Just think of it as money, by selling oil to China, and they have not been stopped or even criticized by the Biden administration. So you brought this on yourself, my friend. Well, and now you're trying to patch it up by helping Israel. fine, but this is going to be an uphill battle. And my other point is, I mean, I know you want to make a point. My other point is just give the IDF what it needs and stay out of it. Okay? All right? And as far as humanitarian aid and all that stuff, humanitarian aid equals Hamas aid. I mean, we've learned that. Come on.
No, but
who's he kidding?
According
It's
to
just
top
politics.
officials, they have an understanding, Larry. They have an understanding with Hamas that they're not going to take the money.
Yeah. And just real quick on that energy point, because when you look at Iran and what we've enabled in Iran, and now we're worried about, we're seeing crude go up, giving the green light to Venezuela.
Did crude go up? I haven't seen crude go up.
It was over 90. It was under 90.
I think the amazing part of this story is oil hasn't gone up. And by the way, gasoline.
Do you think there's
gasoline
opportunity
prices
for it to go up
have
more?
actually come down quite a bit.
Yeah, okay.
I don't. You see, the only reason I don't mean to pick at nits here. I'm just saying that this is not the Yom Kippur War of 1973-74 when we had an Arab oil embargo. This is a different ball of wax because the Middle East is in a different position. And the other thing I want to say is, when I get it in your show, I'm going to say it on my show, the Middle East and the rest of the world was a significantly safer place when Donald Trump was president. Yeah. All right? That is a fact. And you may like Trump, hate Trump. You may want to vote for him or not vote for him, but I'm saying the facts on the ground, we just did not have. These aren't flare-ups. These are war is breaking out in a lot of theaters right now, and that did not happen in the prior administration.
Because he also used oil to bolster our national security. There was such a huge component in that. Maximum pressure on Iran. They had no one to sell their oil to.
We were bulletproof on oil.
He was imposing and enforcing sanctions.
But more than that, there was no cutting and running. We didn't walk away from ISIS. We bombed ISIS to oblivion in Syria. We took out al-Baghdadi. We took out Soleimani, the Iranian strongman. Okay, we put the embassy in Jerusalem. We negotiated peace in the Abraham Accords, et cetera, et cetera. In other words, it's not just oil. It is to a large extent. It's everything else that was done properly.
And also, he's whittled our SPR down to half now at a time of crisis when oil is a big bargaining chip and we're not pumping here. But that's another conversation.
I want to buy a gas-powered car, new one.
You go for it, Larry. We'll turn you loose right now and you can go do it. Larry Kudlow, actions and consequences. That's the theme here.